What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. The LTQ Wrestling Podcast. It's been a minute since we've done an episode, and there's been a lot going on. It's going to be a very WWE focused episode just because been a lot of news going on, and AEW will probably do an episode in a few weeks about that. They have a pay-per-view this weekend, WWE Wrestle Dream, so hopefully that's a good show. A lot of rematches on it, though, which is unfortunate. AEW is really kind of struggling with getting the main eventers because they have Omega out, Ospreay out, Swerve out, so we're dealing with that. So, Tears, how we been doing?
So far so decent. Just things always happening. Things making it seems like the wrestling community is kind of more, I guess, agitated recently about things and like enjoying.
Yeah, there's been a lot of complaints, really, and we'll get into some of that here with some of the topics. Obviously, Crown Jewel, great show. AJ Styles and John Cena was phenomenal. Even Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes was really good. Even Tiffy and Stephanie Vaquera had a good match. It was short, but it was still a very good match. Stephanie Vaquera is fantastic. So was Tiffy, even though her reign's been kind of meh because of the face turn. But let's get into these topics. So the big topic, obviously, coming out of WWE is Seth Rollins. And he apparently got injured against Cody. He did a coast to coast headbutt, which looked incredible, but he had an awkward landing. He was grabbing his shoulder. I think he even dropped an F bomb. And I know there's going to be a lot of fans out there, including myself, that are kind of hesitant to believe it after the last injury. Like, is it a work? But with the vision turning on him, especially them doing it this quickly, I don't see it being a work. I do think Rollins is probably hurt. He's had a history of injuries, let's face it. He's had some injuries throughout his career, everybody does, but he's definitely had his fair share of injuries. So, Tears, what do you think about the vision turning on Rollins and his injury?
Um, Feels kind of short as a group, like a short time span for it. I mean, it might be a sign like maybe Rollins is getting ready to lose a belt. Maybe they did it because Rollins might actually be hurt. But if Rollins is actually hurt, I don't think that they would have done a spear plus a tsunami onto him. I could be wrong. Like maybe like those were safe for him to take because I hear like it was a shoulder injury that really got him. Mm, I don't know. Maybe this might be the moment where the two will actually go for titles instead of being the like bodyguard situation for them. Even though I don't think a lot of people were saying they were, but I don't know. Once again, you can't really trust this injury being real or not. It probably is. I've been seeing like people like Bully Ray on his podcast talking about like it probably could be real.
Yeah, I mean, it seems pretty legit. I don't think WWE would do a work again with it. Could be wrong. Now, what are they going to do with the title? Do you have him hold it? Who knows how long he's going to be out? They're really playing it to the chest right now. They haven't really released a lot of information. He's probably going to go get MRIs and imaging done. Does he just rest up? Does he have to get surgery? Is he out 6 to 9 months? If that's the case, because him and Punk, at Saturday night's main event, do you have Punk face LA Knight? Do you have Punk do a triple threat with him, Jay, and LA Knight potentially? Like, there's at least something there you can do, so you don't have to completely panic. But I feel like Punk's probably going to win the title, even if Rollins doesn't get hurt. Maybe Punk wins the title regardless. But we'll have to see. The vision just to me wasn't really working. Like, it was a good shock factor at WrestleMania, but it wasn't really like a group that really worked. It felt like Rollins was just there. Like, Braun and Bronson are above needing Rollins at this point. I mean, Bronson Reed just pinned Roman Reigns. We'll get into that later. Braun Breaker, I've heard they're trying to make him the next Roman Reigns. So they're, trying to catapult him to that level, which he's already getting there. So, I mean, they definitely broke up quicker than what they intended with this group, but I feel like it was necessary because Rollins just wasn't really needed. Now, if Brock ends up joining the group, we'll see. Maybe Theory. I've heard that tossed around as well. I would like Theory to be in the group just because he's a younger guy and really could use something to do. Brock, yes, there's the connection with Heyman, but like outside of that, it just kind of feel random. So, Tears, I'll ask you this: what would you think about either Theory or Brock joining the Vision?
Feel like Theory would be better, because from what I heard, like there was a talk about like Brock joining division for War Games. What would they be up against? I don't know, but that connection payment would have just helped right there. But now that there's just like not really, I mean, we talked about this. Like they technically could still be the Vision, and they could still have Brock be there due to Heyman, but not like as a main part of the group, but just like if Heyman asked Brock, Brock would consider it more than actually go like, yeah, nah, Chief. Um, hmm, hmm. I think it'd be better is if Brock is like sticking around a little bit longer for him to still be doing his own thing than rather than like be a part of a group. Because Brock is one of those guys to where like he's not a group guy. He does not do groups. Theory could benefit because since Rollins is out of the group, they kind of need someone to wrestle close to that style because Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker do not do what Rollins can do. So they need someone who can like fit that like need. And I feel like Theory makes sense, or it could be Waller. Waller's an option.
Yeah, both them guys would work. I know Waller's been in the New Day, which I guess is just a way to keep him on TV, kind of just whatever with that. Yeah, I would agree with you. I don't feel like Brock's really a group guy. Maybe he just does like a favor for Heyman. Like Heyman goes, "Oh, we need you for War Games. Help us out here," and it's like a one-off thing. That would make a lot more sense for Brock. But like Theory needs something to do. The fact that Triple H just fumbled Theory this much just irritates the hell out of me. Like this guy has it all. He has the look, talk, he can work. Like yeah, Vince was pushing a little bit too quick, but I saw why Vince liked Theory. Like he's a young guy who has a lot of talent. He just hasn't really the last few years ever since he lost to Cash in the Rollins hasn't really done much. He's just they didn't have him turn on Grayson Waller. That was what people were waiting on forever, and he's just been kind of just an afterthought. And he's too talented of a guy to really be that. So hopefully they get him in the Vision, maybe in War Games. I've heard rumors about him being in the War Games match on the Vision side. That's why I brought him up as a potential member of that group. Again, like Tier, I don't know who they'd be facing. Maybe Punk and Uso. I don't know who they would be facing. I mean, I don't know. But we'll see.
I'll put it this way: there. Imagine it is a 3v3 like War Games to where like it is Punk, LA Knight, and Jey Uso. It could be Braun, Bronson, and either Brock or Theory.
Could do that.
It probably is gonna be Brock if I had to imagine, which leads to Brock probably feuding with maybe Punk. I mean, people didn't from what I remember from his first return, like run, people didn't really hate Beast versus Best or Best versus Beast.
It was a good match. Maybe they do like Jimmy, LA Knight, Punk, and Jay against Theory, Brock, Bronson, Brock. I don't know. Something like that.
I don't think that you should have Theory and Brock like
No.
show up in the group at the same time.
I would hope not, but WWE's done a lot of stuff that don't make sense lately, so who knows? We'll have to see, though. I mean, the Rollins injury, if it is real, it's a huge blow for WWE. There are fans who think Rollins is cringe at times, but he's been their biggest star on the Raw brand for a while now, besides Punk. So, I mean, we'll have to see what the ramifications are of this injury. Like, he could be out till next year, midway. So we'll have to see. So, Santos Escobar, he's been in the news. He was supposed to be leaving WWE. Then 2 days later, he's re-signing with WWE. And it was close to him going to AEW. I've heard a lot of talk about him joining the Don Callis family, which I don't want to see that. That group, literally half the goddamn roster is in the Don Callis family at this point. He'd be in that group. He's a talented guy. Like, he can talk. He's a very good heel. He just hasn't really gotten an opportunity on the main roster to do a whole lot. Like, they tried with him, Garza, Berto, and Elektra Lopez for a little bit. They didn't really get reactions, but like WWE just didn't really give you a reason to care about him, unfortunately. And I mean, I feel like that's kind of more on the creative than him. I mean, he just hasn't really had a lot to work with. And it seems like, after Andrade leaving, maybe they thought, okay, we don't want two Hispanic wrestlers leaving this close together. We'll offer him a ton of money, promise him more creative. And he re-signed. So, dude, I know you're a fan of Santos Escobar. What do you think about him re-signing? with WWE and his creative direction?
Oof. I feel like I can understand the arguments where like having Santos and Andrade leaving at the same time does look bad, but I feel like the reason they re-signed him is for a different reason. They need a backup heel Hispanic. Like I feel like WWE always has one, and I understand people can make the argument for Dom, but he's kind of doing his own thing that doesn't feel like he has to be like the quote unquote heel Hispanic. And plus, like once again, WWE for years now, almost 10 years plus, has still been trying to find the next big Hispanic face. And while it could be Dom, I feel like WWE probably don't want to do that. I mean, who knows? Because like I recently I did rewatch Eddie's first U.S. title reign, where he started to doing the live cheat and steal. It started off as a heel gimmick, but the fans started loving it, and it turned. It is basically one of those organic face turns. Let's not forget like the Eddie versus Benoit match where Rhino gored Benoit, and Eddie just gave like the shrug. I don't know, and just pinned Benoit. That was funny. I think that was the moment that turned him face. We haven't had a moment that really confirms Dominic as a face, really. So I think WWE kind of needs to have somebody, as a precautionary, like, let's just have him around and see where things can go. Creative control, I'm curious where that can go.
So I'll ask you this: do you send him to AAA to do something? Would that be a direction you go with them working with AAA?
That probably would be the best case action because I can imagine like Santos is probably used to wrestling a lot of people from there, or maybe like the or better option. With Santos showing up, that could be a good like window for people from AAA to come to WWE to like let them be known in the North American like wrestling scene.
Yeah, I mean there was actually a rumor going around that he was potentially going to win the AAA World Title, but they figured out he wasn't going to
Mm-hmm.
re-sign, so they didn't do that. So they had some plans for him in AAA, so maybe they go through with that now. Hopefully he gets some opportunity. He's a talented guy. I loved his work in NXT. Him and Cross actually had a good feud, and we'll have to see. I mean, if they're going to pay this guy a ton of money, they got to have him do something. I would think, like, because they're paying him some pretty good money for a guy who really wasn't doing a whole lot. So we'll have to see what the plan is. Maybe he looked at AEW as well and thought, okay, am I really going to be any more important over there than I am here? Because AEW, I mean, look at Andrade. We're going to talk about him here in a second. He debuted and he's already been off TV for like 2 or 3 weeks. Like AEW just kind of don't really know what to do with a lot of people on the roster. And I feel like Santos would just be another guy who's just kind of there and lost in the shuffle. So we'll see. Hoping the best for Santos. So speaking of Andrade, WWE, lost him a few weeks ago. I know the news is a little bit older now. I was going to get Tears' thoughts on this. So, like, WWE had huge plans for Andrade. They thought he was going to return from AEW and really be, like, over, like, on Cody level. Not really on that level, but get, like, a big reaction. They thought he was going to be more over than what he was. And they were not happy with his English not improving. They felt like he wasn't really trying to get better at speaking English, which, I mean, I can understand that. Like, if you're going to be in WWE and you want to be a huge star, you got to speak English or be charismatic as hell. And Andrade's, I like him, but he's not a very charismatic guy. Io Sky and Asuka and, a lot of these wrestlers who don't speak very well English are very charismatic and can get the crowd into their matches and stuff like that. And even Asuka and Io have been speaking a little bit better English. And Stephanie Victor has improved her English a lot. She said to Chris Van Vliet she's been taking English lessons every week, and really improving her English. So, Tears, as a fan of Andrade, do you agree with WWE's viewpoint of like, okay, this guy's not really getting better at English? Can we really push this guy as a top guy, or do you think they should have went back? I remember you mentioned Selena Vega. Do you think they should have went back and had her be his manager again?
I feel like Selena Vega and Andrade was a good heel duo, and it worked well because it did it. With Selena being a manager and Andrade being the wrestler part, it filled in the weaknesses of Andrade to where, like, yeah, he can't talk English, which is something he does need to do if he's going to be a major North American star. But at the same time, it's just like, I mean, once again, it goes to like what we said about Santos. They need somebody who can be also a face, and unfortunately, Andrade is not a face. I'm a huge fan of Andrade, but I don't think he can work well as a face. He is a heel individual, and unfortunately, when you're a heel, you got to be able to converse with the crowd. You got to get them to boo you. You can't really do that if you're just being like, I wrestle like a heel, but that means I can't really do anything really. It's one of those like situations where like, yeah, he kind of didn't have much to help him, really. If that makes sense.
Yeah, because I mean they brought him back at the Royal Rumble 2023, had him do a little bit. Really, his most memorable thing was him and Carmelo Hayes' best of 7 series. Those matches were incredible. But after that, they just didn't really do much. When they tried doing him and Phoenix in a tag team, was going somewhere. I mean, it was a fun team, but again, WWE hasn't really emphasized tag team wrestling very much the last few years. So it's like it was just hard to care about Andrade. He didn't creative didn't give you a reason to care about him, and he really didn't have a character. Really, it was just like, okay, Andrade's back. Why should I care? Like, and that's not a knock on him. It's just like, and even in AEW, it's like, okay, he's in the Don Callis family. So was half the roster. So it's like, why should I care about this guy? And then, unfortunately, he's the first guy to go from WWE to AEW, back to WWE, back to AEW. Like, it's just like he's playing hot potato here. And it's like, is that a point now where it's like he's just not going to really do much here in America as a wrestler? Like, what do you think about that viewpoint?
I mean, I guess there's some credit to the fact like he is one of those people to where like both companies are willing to keep doing it, working with him. Like he's not one of those like wrestlers who leaves like burnt bridges behind him. Like he apparently is such nice guy to where like companies will be like, oh, you can come back whenever you feel like it. Apparently,
So here's the thing about that. I don't know if you heard about this. So in AEW, he got in a fight with Sammy Guevara. That's
oh,
one of the reasons he got let go. And in WWE, he just completely ghosted them. He didn't return any of the calls. He didn't get back to them. He didn't. So they just let him go. And so, I mean, he might be a good guy, but he's definitely had a reputation of causing issues backstage. I don't know if he just. So I talked to QJ about this. Like maybe he was a big star in Mexico and he thinks he should be a bigger star here. That's
yeah,
a
he was. He was Los Sombra was a really big deal several years ago before he came to WWE. He was the
yes,
one who created the LA Los Ingobernables faction, which is more popular in Japan as LIJ with Tetsuya Naito and all of
yeah,
them.
yeah. I remember that group. But maybe in his mind, he feels like he should be a bigger star here, so he kind of has an ego. But the problem is, you got to be able to speak some English. And even in AEW, I mean, you got to be able to speak a little bit. I mean, they don't emphasize promos as much there, but you got to be able to connect with an audience to a degree. And he just hasn't really been able to do that. So hopefully it works out this time around in AEW. It looked like him and Omega were going to be feuding, but Omega's just dealt with a lot of health issues. Like, he don't look the same in the ring. He looks just not good. So who knows if Omega's even going to be wrestling that much or if at all anymore. So we'll have to see what the move is for Andrade. But he's a very talented wrestler. But there's a lot of talented wrestlers out there. You got to do something to stand out. And hopefully he does something in AEW to really to stand out. Maybe him and Roosh do something. I know they're really good friends and they tweet at each other a lot. Maybe that's something they do. Put them in a group or something. We'll see.
I mean, they were the ones part of LI, or I don't want to say LIJ, but you know what I'm trying to say. They were the ones of that group. And I think the third person of that group was Dragon Lee. I could be wrong. I feel like I'm wrong.
Could be.
Somebody correct me in the comments. Like, who was the third man of the original Los Ingobernables group in? I want to say CMLL.
Yeah. I think we'll see.
Feeling that's right.
Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see what the hopes are. So WWE, there's been a lot of reports coming out about them, how they're changing creative direction to try to improve the overall product. Road Dogg's gotten a lot of criticism for the booking of SmackDown. Even when he got put up back on head of creative, a lot of people weren't happy about it because his run before really wasn't very good. And AJ Styles came to his defense saying, like, basically saying, Vince was like changing his plans and all that. But it's just like not been a very good show. And it seems like WWE is trying to improve their overall product. They've been listening to fan feedback. And a lot of wrestlers backstage have been asking for their old entrance teams back, including Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. Broken Dreams, maybe? Drew maybe been asking for it. And they seem like they're starting to listen. Nakamura got his back, Kairi Sane, Street Profits. So we're starting to see more of, entrance teams that the crowd knows and gets into, because a lot of the CFO entrance music, I think that's who it is. Isn't that yours? CFO? I always get them in.
I think CFO has been gone for a while. I think we switched. I
Def.
think we got a new person. Yeah, Death Rebel.
I always get them too confused. Okay. Yeah, Def Rebels just like they made some okay entrance music. I mean, I like the Usos single music. Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins is very catchy. Lyra Valkyria, like they're gonna have some hits, but a lot of the newer ones are just generic. There's no lyrics. There's nothing that really gets you hyped. And entrance teams are such a pivotal part of a wrestler's character and them getting over. I mean, you look at international crowds and just American crowds are singing Edge's music, Randy Orton, CM Punk, John Cena. Those are guys who almost got over because of their entrance music as well. So it's good to see WWE giving a lot of the wrestlers their old themes back. So, Tears, what do you think about that?
It would definitely help, but I feel also that the moment you do it, you can't really like just go like, "Hey, it happened." Because remember when Jeff Hardy brought back fuck, what was this theme song called?
No more words.
Yeah, no more words. Like the SmackDown that they just randomly brought that back, there was barely a reaction at all from it, and that was pretty sad to hear. But it like Written in My Face and Shattered Dreams, I feel like that has to be like special events, like special shows, like when they went, like when Clash of the Castle happened, like that was a great moment to do it. Written in My Face, that would definitely have to be an Irish related show, and I would personally say keep the ECW intro part as well, where it was like the slow, soft spoken version into the heavy parts, because everybody's gonna want to hear that because it's like a great pop. You know what I'm saying? But those are also just two of the best examples of like bringing back old theme songs. But there's also some as well. I'm pretty sure like people would like have a chuckle slash fun and like say the Usos tagged together. They brought back "I'm on Top." Like there's that one. There's maybe Rhea Ripley's original version of Brutality. Could be wrong. I mean, I don't mind if she sticks with the Motionless in White version she has right now.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Black is still using his theme song. Hmm.
A lot of people have mentioned Fire Burns for Punk, which, for anybody wondering, Punk did an interview and he said he is not going back to that full time. He loves Cult of Personality too much to do that. So that's one people
Yeah,
have.
Cult of Personality is his song. He has wrestled with that song everywhere. This Fire Burns was, let's not forget, was not originally supposed to be his theme song. It was going to go to Randy Orton. Randy Orton just hated the song.
Yeah, so I
Like,
mean,
we all love Kill Switch Engage. I know some people who says like they're kind of meh to them. I personally love them. I would have loved it if Roderick Strong was still in WWE and he came out with End of Heartache. That's just me ranting right there. But This Fire Burns is a WWE Punk song, whereas Cult of Personality is a Punk song.
yeah,
That's it.
mhm,
Yeah.
it is like Punk. Pretty much to go off what you just said, like Punk pretty much said in negotiations to return to WWE, he told Vince like I want my own outside theme song, and Vince never did that for anybody, and he did it for Punk and got him licensed to Cult of Personality, and he's never went back since. I think that's kind of why too, because Vince never did that for hardly anybody. Like it was always WWE made songs by Jim Johnson or like them, so it makes a lot of sense for Punk. But yeah, like pretty much to piggyback off what Tier said, like like you could bring back some like Nakamura. It helps him with his entrance music, like the heel Nakamura stuff. It was cool, but it just wasn't really getting over with the audience. Kyrie Sane has a catchy song. Like certain wrestlers, it benefits, but others, it's like the care factor still will be the same. Like no knock on Zelina Vega, but if she went back to her old theme song, would anybody really give a shit? That's not knock
I
her.
really didn't.
Yeah.
It's just another song.
Exactly. So it's like it depends who it is. The Street Profits obviously helps. I love their old. It's a hype theme song. Their other one was just kind of like okay. Asuka, I mean, hers is a little different. I mean, maybe you could go back to hers, her old original NXT theme. We'll see though.
No, yeah, you can tell the difference. But it's
Yeah.
just like when you do like just redos of the song, like going back to the original kind of doesn't work. Cause I'll put it this way: would it be better since we have when Nakamura went back to the original version? Do you think it would have still worked if it was the lyrical version of his old theme song?
Uh, maybe it depends. Probably not though.
I mean, I over time like we went back to here and it's like it's not as bad as we all remember.
No, it's not.
And when he did go back to the original one, we did not care. It just happened because there was no difference between the songs besides one has lyrics, one does not. So it's like one of those things where like if you're gonna bring back an old theme song, you have to have your current theme song be like such a dramatic change, like how Sheamus is right now. It is nothing like written in my face.
Oh no. And it's weird with Sheamus. So they brought back his old one for like 2 weeks, and they just went back to the old one. It was like weird. I don't know if they did that just to get the fans to shut up about it or what, but I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we'll see who it benefits. Like I said, the guys like Nakamura definitely helps, but it's not going to help everybody. So we'll see. I mean, it's definitely a step in the right direction, though, because a lot of the newer themes have been just completely garbage. So WWE had some releases, and a lot of them were a lot of towns from like the show they were doing on A&E, like with the Undertaker and all them. WWE, I can't think of the name of her. I know. But you guys know what I'm talking about. WWE, the show competition, kind of like Tough Enough, basically. A lot of people from that got released. A lot of people, pretty much, the word coming out of WWE is that you got 2 years of show, whether you're made for this or not. If you don't, you're pretty much gone. And Wes Lee was among those released. That was pretty much the most notable name. There was also that BJ guy who was a very good promo, who a lot of people were kind of surprised at. And then some other wrestlers who weren't really big names. But Wes Lee was over a few years ago. He was a guy who, his partner got released for an unfortunate photo that got out on social media. They never really brought him back in the WWE contract. They did bring him back from TNA. And he was on a babyface run for a while and was over. And then they had the Radicals come over to NXT, and they had Wes Lee turn heel. And then after that, it was just a complete mess. And they released him. And, a lot of fans were upset about it. But honestly, the word going around is they didn't really see much for him on the main roster. And I mean, I can't really disagree. I just don't really know what his role would be on the main roster. We'll get into Ridge Holland next, but let's start off with Wes Lee. What do you think about him being released?
It's kind of upsetting because, but once again, like they originally wanted the Radicals, like and then that happened. So like they were kind of stuck with. I don't want to say they were just stuck with Wes Lee. That sounds horrible, but at the same time, like they gave him a good. They gave him a North American Championship run. They gave him a decent like heel flair to his character. But at the same time, like the entire time, I will say, like I felt like they originally wanted the Radicals. They didn't want Wes Lee. So it's kind of like one of those situations where like we're kind of stuck with you, but let's see what we can manage this. Can we turn into something new and exciting? And to some, probably yeah, but it was probably like not getting the what they wanted out of it, like not the bang for their buck.
Yeah, they definitely try. By the way, if my hand's in the way, it's because I'm using my phone, because my tablet lags for some reason, so that's why I'm using my phone. But yeah, Wes Lee, like he had a good run, but what's next for him? You got Javon Evans now, who's 21, You got Leon Slater, who will be in WWE eventually. TNA is basically just a WWE just farmhand at this point. They're pretty much like, okay, we'll work with you, and then when these guys' contracts or women's contracts are up, we'll take them. That's pretty much how they're going at this point. We'll see. I mean, Tears, where do you see Wes Lee going? I've heard AEW, but I mean, do you see him go back to TNA? Where do you see him where do you see him ending up now that he's a free agent?
Probably.
Back with the Radicals?
Yeah, like I feel like it's definitely going to be like back with the Radicals because like that was like the big thing for him and all that. But TNA would maybe. I really, really don't want to say MLW,
Nah.
but MLW will take anyone as we've seen.
I mean, maybe he'd get a decent push there. I mean, I feel like TNA is probably his best bet, even though it's technically. I mean, TNA is its own company, but they're still working with WWE, so it's weird when people go there after getting released. But we've seen it with Cedric and I can't think of her name now. She's the one who people probably know who I'm talking about. She was the one who was Lash Legend's partner. I think she's going by like Mara Sade or something. She botched a moonsault really bad the other night, something like that. I forgot her name, but she got released and then was in TNA. And Ali was released. He's in TNA now, so it's not unusual. But we'll see what happens with Wesley. He's a very talented guy. And another person, this person is not getting released. Their contract is not getting renewed. There's been a lot of criticism towards WWE because Ridge Holland got hurt in his last match. He's injured right now, and they still are not renewing his contract, so he's not going to get his rehab and everything paid for, which a lot of people are irritated at. So, before we get into Ridge Holland as a wrestler, what do you think about that? Like WWE releasing, or not releasing, but not renewing his contract while he's injured?
I mean, by the way, side note, I think the person you were talking about before might be Jakara Jackson, is her name.
Yeah, that's her, yeah.
But Rich, I mean, I'm gonna be fair. His WWE run was not one to remember, and even if you do have a moment to remember, it's probably not for a good reason because it was him in the match with Big E that was the last Big E match. So it's kind of just like that's a hindrance.
He was doomed from the beginning after that, unfortunately.
Yeah, and plus Brawling Brutes. Let's be fair.
That not good.
Yeah, I liked his suplexes. I liked how he wrestled, but I think it was just like he didn't have anything else. Like
No
he
charisma.
he's not one of those people that can turn a bad gimmick into something fun.
Nah, I mean he was in that group NXT. What was their name? They were very over.
That's the point right there. Like if he was in a group in NXT and you can't even remember what it was.
No, they were a good group. Honestly, I just can't think. Chase University. That's what it is. That group. Which some people liked it. I didn't really watch a lot of their stuff. He was in that group.
Was not for me.
Yeah, so I mean, it wasn't everybody's cup of tea, but he pretty much broke up that group, and they didn't do nothing with it. And I think he wrestled a match in TNA, which he got injured during. Really, unfortunately for him, when you injure Big E like that in his career, I mean, that's all people are going to think about when they look at you. Like, I know I said this on my TikTok. Like, there's a few comments saying like injuries happen, but the problem is you basically injured a person and ended their career, and that's going to be. And I'm sure he feels bad about it. I mean, let's be honest. I heard he was at Big E's hospital. I mean, that's something really like mentally, it's really tough to deal with because. I know Big E's a good guy, and he's probably told him, injuries happen and everything. But that's something he's probably like always thinking about when he's in the ring now too, because it's like, you don't want that to happen again. Do I see him wrestling anywhere else? I mean, possibly. I don't know where. Maybe AEW takes a chance. I don't really see him doing much there. I mean, I felt like he needs to go to a company like MLW that Tears was mentioning, or like a company that kind of has a spot for him to really do something because AEW doesn't. TNA, maybe. I mean, Tears, do you see any companies out there that make sense for Ridge personally?
Progress.
Yeah, that could work. Somewhere where he gets an opportunity to work. and maybe do something. I don't know. Hoping the best for him and Wes Lee. I mean, releases happen all the time. It kind of is what it is. Not everybody can make it in WWE. That's just the way the machine is. They're going to keep on moving, and hopefully they'll find jobs somewhere. We'll see. So, final topic of the podcast. So, Crown Jewel. We talked about how it was a good show. The first match was Bronson Reed and Roman Reigns in an Australian street fight. I don't really care about their matches between each other. Like, not that I don't care, but it's just not really my cup of tea of style of match. I mean, Roman Reigns' matches aren't really that entertaining to me anyways, in ring-wise. He's more of a tell a story type of wrestler, so you kind of get what you get with Roman Reigns. Solid match. Reed ends up pinning Roman Reigns. And obviously, Jay speared Roman through a table. That had to do with him winning, so I know some fans take away like, oh, he didn't beat him legit. He still pinned Roman Reigns. Him and Cody Rhodes are the only two in the 2020s to pin Roman Reigns in 1v1. That's an impressive list to be on. So I've seen some criticism. Some fans don't consider Bronson Reed to be a big star. They don't think he shouldn't have been the one to beat Reigns. They think it should have been Braun Breaker, even though Breaker's going to probably beat Reigns eventually himself. There's just been kind of mixed reaction. And, Roman Reigns barely takes pins, so there's going to be a big reaction when he does. So, Tears, was it the right move to have Bronson Reed pin Roman Reigns in your mind?
I can see it being a helpful option for him because I get like people say like why not have Braun Breaker on the list? Because at the current moment, Braun does not need to pin Roman Reigns right now. Braun Breaker can get over without that. Bronson Reed kind of needs to get some stuff with him. Yeah, he's the tribal thief. That the Shula Vala stuff. That is fun. But that is fun character work. We need fun in-ring work. Or not fun, but we need something that actually bites in because he needs meaningful wins. Because main roster wise, Bronson Reed kind of hasn't done anything. Braun Breaker is a 2-time Intercontinental Champion already. Not to mention the 2-time NXT Champion, the guy who unified the NXT and the UK belts together. Not to mention one of the guys to beat Gunther when he was Walter still, I think. So it's like one of those things where Braun Breaker kind of doesn't need to beat Roman, whereas Bronson Reed does. And yeah, I can understand the argument like, yeah, it wasn't a clean victory, but keep in mind, Bronson Reed is a heel. And this also leaves an avenue for Roman Reigns to still be going for that group or the division, or if you want to still be calling it division, that's up to you. It lets Roman still have a reason to be a part of the storyline. And Bronson having that win over him helps Bronson. Now, is Roman probably going to get the win back? Chances are high. But that win's still going to be on Bronson's record. Can't take that away from him.
Yeah, I mean, he made history. Nobody could take that away from, like Tears said. It's a big win for Bronson Reed. I mean, he's pinned Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns. I believe there's another name on that list. Like, he's beating some pretty big names. They're really high on Bronson Reed. Like, he said when he got hurt, Triple H told him, like, you're not going to lose your spot. And he hasn't. I mean, he hasn't lost his spot at all. So, hopefully he keeps his momentum, and hopefully WWE keeps going with this. We'll see. I'm a big Bronson Reed fan. I loved his work in NXT with the North American title. I think he held that for a little bit. He's a talented guy. He got released by Vince. Vince wasn't really high on Bronson Reed. Apparently, he saw him on Main Event and just thought, oh, this guy's not nothing or whatever. So he got released. He went to TNA. He went to New Japan for a little bit. He did some stuff, and now he's back, and he's done great. So I'm all for wrestlers getting opportunities. And, I've talked to QJ about this in the past. Like, when Roman Reigns, like, the problem is, like, Will Ospreay, for example, he took too many pins. You don't want a star like that to take too many pins. You want them to take losses that mean something. And Reigns just took a loss that means something. Everybody's talking about it. It elevated Reed, I feel like. He's a guy who rarely takes pins. Like, that's what you want. Like, you don't want Roman Reigns to just never lose. I feel like a lot of fans don't want him to ever lose. And it's just like, he's got to lose eventually, but you don't want him to lose very often. But when he does lose, it's a big deal. And this is why this was a big deal, because this was the second 1v1 loss in 5 years. 5 years. Only 2 pinfall losses in 1v1. I'm not talking about. I'll go ahead, Tears.
I was just chuckling about that, like that statistic too, because I remember when the Usos pinned Roman and Solo, or like they beat them, and that was a big deal, and deservedly so. It was a pretty big emotional moment
Oh yeah.
because the Usos came back together, which was helpful. But the fact that it's a one-on-one with Roman Reigns is definitely different.
Yeah, like it's a rare thing. Like I posted a TikTok about a lot of people were misinterpreting what I said. They said, "Oh well, Xavier Woods beat him and Baron Corbin." That wasn't in the 2020s. That was before the 2020s. So that doesn't count. I'm talking about the 2020s. 5 years in, about to be in 2026. This is 5 to 6 years in. He's taken 2 1v1 pinfall losses to Cody Rhodes and Bronson Reed. That is it. So that's a big deal for Bronson Reed to be on that list. Now, would I have Roman Reigns take another loss in a 1v1 for a while? Hell no. I would have it go 2 or 3 years before he takes another loss in a 1v1 if that's the case.
To
But
be fair, we would have to get him into another match, though.
yeah, I think it's funny. There's like a meme that Roman Reigns had more returns in actual matches this year, and I think that's actually a
I've
pretty.
seen that same one.
Yeah, yeah. It feels like he's probably going to take some time off again. Well, he was filming the Street Fighter movie. I guess that wasn't as long filming.
That
Yeah,
was happening.
so we'll see. I mean, he's a big star. You got to protect your big stars. So we'll see what the move is. So, Tears, any final thoughts about anything before we wrap up this episode?
Um, Fun note for our community. So I've been watching Wrestle Talks, and I'm trying to make a what's my personal top 10 list of favorite finishers of all time. So for the community or our chat or comment section, whatever you want to call it, type in what is a finisher and from who that you always just get a pop from, no matter what you think of the person. Just like that, when they hit that finisher, it's like that. I like that. I like that move, especially when it's on him.
I'll answer that for me, Ember Moon. Or I keep on Ember Moon. Athena. When she
With
does
the
the.
Eclipse.
Yeah, that move still just blows my mind that she hits that move every time. It's just insane. That's probably. You got any that come to mind for you while we're talking about those? Any finishers that you just go, man, that finisher just so. That and Leon Slater's 450 Swanton. That still just blows my mind that he's able to do that. Those are the two for me.
Uh, I mean, there's a lot because I'm looking at my list. I don't have it all put together, but I just have like a bunch of moves that I put together. Like one of them is the Shatter Machine from FTR.
Yeah, that's definitely one of them for sure.
Uh, some classic ones like the Perfect Plex from Mr. Perfect, Jackknife, Clothesline from Hell is always just fun to watch him hit it on people. And one that you just have to scream to the heavens, Olympic Slam from Angle.
Agreed. I popped big when Cena did an Olympic slam to Sami Zayn. I was like, by the way, before we wrap this up, shout out to AJ Styles and John Cena. Just shout out for two guys who are both 48 years old to go out there and have a match of the year candidate after all the criticism, including criticism from me about how Cena is just mailed it in during this retirement tour and he wasn't doing shit during his matches. For them to go out there and have the match they had and pay tribute to some of the best in the business. I know a lot of fans aren't really talking about AJ Styles' tribute to some of his TNA, foes over the years. It was just a great put together match. I loved it. And I hope Cena is proud of how I know the heel turns kind of had a lot of people turned off of his retirement tour, but I just hope people appreciate how good Cena really is. I've had my criticism of him over the years, rightfully so, but man, he's impressed me during this retirement tour because I mean he's done a lot of moves that I didn't even think he could do, and he's made them look great. I mean, when he did that Sister Abigail as a tribute to Bray, I mean that hit. I'm not gonna lie, like the crowd, everything. I mean that. So I just wanted to give a shout out to two of the very best of all time. You're never gonna see another John Cena or AJ Styles in the business. Two guys who care about the business, who work their asses off to get where they're at, and just two Hall of Famers. So
And let's not forget the fact that they're like at the age that they're at, and they're still able to do that. Because I remember like when the match was announced, like a friend of mine was just like, I don't know, because like it feels like it's not gonna be as good as the first one and all that stuff. And I'm just like, before the match, it was one of those situations to where, they are kind of like more beaten up, more broken down. It, I mean, they were kind of like that too at the time period, but this is like what, almost 10 years since their
Yeah,
last encounter with each other?
2017 was it? I think the Royal Rumble was the last time they. No, SmackDown in 2017. That was the last time they fought.
God, the fact that Styles has almost been in WWE for 10 years is still crazy.
Yeah, that is. He's gonna
Like,
retire at the 10-year mark too. I think
that's
next year, 2026.
wild.
Appreciate him while you can, everybody. I mean, these are legends. I mean, a lot of these guys are
And
Punk's retiring.
like I mentioned, Styles and Cena are, in my opinion, and I feel like a lot more people feel this way, they're the example of North American wrestling between 2000s and 2010s. Like they are the two main people that you think about when you think of early Northern wrestling.
Oh yeah, and that's kind of why I get emotional watching it. I
But
seen like a lot of streamers crying watching it. Like it was emotional watching it because you're just like, these are two guys retiring soon, and a lot of us have watched them since. I mean, I've watched them both since I started watching wrestling in 2008. Cena was the guy. AJ Styles was one of the guys in TNA. Like it was emotional for me because I'm just like, man, this is the final time I'm ever going to see these two square off. And these are just two legends. Like you kind of you sometimes don't appreciate it in the moment, but like that, everybody, if you haven't watched that match, please watch it. I'm probably gonna watch it again because it was just that good. It was just a good swan song to professional wrestling. Really, it was just a fantastic performance by both those guys, and I've seen nothing but positive reviews from everybody. And by the way, the whole AEW roster needs to take damn notes. He hit a tombstone and hit a finisher right after, then pinned him. He didn't have him kick out of the tombstone like all these mofos in AEW be doing. He hit his finisher afterwards and pinned him. That's how you do it. So shout out to Cena. He understands. So that'll wrap it up for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this discussion. A lot of wrestling topics. Hopefully you guys enjoy Wrestle Dream this weekend from St. Louis, Missouri, my hometown. So hopefully that's good. At least you can actually afford to go to an AEW show. Somebody told, by the way, somebody told me a front row ticket for John Cena's retirement match is $15,000. So we're gonna see you there. $15,000 front row seat. That is, yeah. Maybe a green shirt guy would be there. I mean, apparently green shirt guy's a real estate like billionaire or something. That's why he's always at these shows. So maybe he'll go, but
if I see him there, I swear to God.
he probably will be. Maybe he's even priced out by TKO at this point.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah, we'll have to see. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe for more wrestling content. As always, we upload every single week. We're uploading a lot of shorts. They've been doing very well. So hopefully you guys have been enjoying that. Peace.
Bye.